Well, it's a very exciting time. The new album, The Seven, is right around the corner. I believe it's March 18th that it comes out.
Exactly. Yeah.
There you go. I do my research. Not a lot, but I do a bit. Um, it's a very exciting release, of course, because it's the first studio album from Agathodaimon in 9 years. Hopefully, I didn't pronounce the band's name too wrong there. My Greek isn't great.
That is fine. Typically, we say Agathodaimon. It's a Greek name, so
yeah. Yeah. But like I say, it's the first album for 9 years. What was the reason for such a long gap in between albums?
Yeah, I wasn't really comfortable with this question in the beginning because it tends to be a bit weird. I mean, we are doing sort of black metal stuff, and I was thinking, should I think about some stuff like, I had to serve a prison sentence or whatever, just to make it a bit more true black metal or whatever. But I mean, the reason was quite simple. Meanwhile, married and having two kids. And actually, my daughter was, the second kid was just coming in 2013. And I was 100% sure it won't work out. Just trying to fit both the band and the family together. Because I know Agathodaimon is quite a job that is time intense. And of course, I didn't want to compromise too big on either side. I want to be there for my family, for my kids, and of course the band. So I thought, let's make a hard cut here, put the band on ice, and then just take it back up when the worst development kid-wise is through. So that took us like until 2018. I mean, our vocalist Ashtrael was more or less in a similar situation there. He meanwhile is also a daddy. And so in 2018, we said, now it's time we can focus on the band again.
Yeah, cool. I mean, to be fair, mate, I don't think anybody's going to give you any shit for being a good dad. If anyone does go, oh, that's not very black metal, then they're an asshole.
I was wondering, do we hear many reasons like that? Like somebody said, I need to just stop the band. I need to have time for my family. I rarely remember things like that. So it was just something.
It's a lot more respectful and what's the word? Relatable answer than John Nodvig going to prison. So
maybe.
And again, I've probably pronounced his name wrong as well because my Swedish is as bad as my Greek. But it's like
that's fine.
Yeah. So with that being said, then of course you've got 3 new members in the band now, on bass, drums, and guitar, respectively. How have they fit in with Agathodaimon so far?
Really well. I mean, as mentioned, it took us like 2 years to just be sure and that we're ready and can announce that we are back. We had several additions coming and testing out new members, making sure that there's not only skillful musician in the rehearsal room, but also someone you really can hang out with after a gig and that you feel comfortable being around with, that you somehow just have the proper band vibe in place, so to say. And so there was a little coming and going in certain aspects, but in 2020, as mentioned, we were confident that the current lineup is stable and that we can actually proceed and say, okay, now it's time we continue. And then, Corona popped up. So that's a different story, I guess.
I think for a lot of bands now, people just kind of assume that Corona is the reason for a delay, but it's but no, from what we've heard from the new album so far, they sound like they're very much a part of Agathodaimon, very natural fit. Because this new material does sound awesome. Obviously, you've done the music video so far and the lyric video. But the music video, of course, was for Ain't Death Grand, which is a great title. How well do you think this song represents the album as a whole?
Very much, actually. But I always have an issue. Well, maybe let's start like this. Ain't Death Grand was the first song that we worked on together as a band, and therefore that was one of the reasons we decided we should put this out as first teaser, so to say. And it was just a song where it became clear that all the musicians that joined the band, I mean, these 3 new members, they fit in really well, that we can work together on the songs, that everybody is able to contribute, and that the proper vibe and feeling is there. So I really love that song. But on the other hand, I had some really weird feeling in my stomach, because I think we do have a lot of variety on the album. There are songs that differ a lot from that one. So if people hear another song, more clean vocals or whatever, they might say, oh, that's not what I expected. I mean, if you know Agathodaimon, that there's always a bit of a variety going around there, but it's always tough to just put one finger at a certain song and say, this is the way the album sounds. And therefore, yeah, we had this second single, so to say, Wolf Within, recently, and on the 15th of March, we will release a third track, Kyrie Gloria, which is quite aggressive, no clean vocals there. We even have Julien Truchon from Benighted doing guest vocals there. So it's quite extreme song. And we also filmed a video actually last weekend. I'm really looking forward to that and hope the result will be nice.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So
yeah, I saw some of the pictures you uploaded from the video shoot. Is it Castle Arenfels that was recorded?
Exactly. Yeah. We were lucky to get the permission from the owners to film there and roam around and just pick some places. And we had some actors also. The lady that you've seen in Aint Grant will have another appearance there. So actually, what might have happened in the first video in Aint Grant is part of the bigger story in that song. So looking forward that we maybe can get this one out. Will be still a lot of things to do in the final cut, but let's see.
Very nice. And as you mentioned, you've got Julien from Benighted on that song. You also have another guest appearance on the album. You have Vlad Dracul from Ra. How did these collaborations come to be?
The thing with Julien was that I think he and Ashtrail were in touch earlier on, but both Agathodaimon and Benighted were regular guests at the Kohlekeller studio. We recorded there since 20 years or so, since chapter 3. And I think Benighted also picked the studio when they heard one of our productions. I think chapter 3 or whatever back then. It was a side project somewhere. There are all these French bands. There was the drummer of Destinity with whom we toured. I think he was the first to come there, and whatever. There was a certain connectivity between the Kohlekeller studio and us, and we were recording our album there. And Kohle told us, the producer, that Julien would soon also visit. They are doing some vocal sessions for his YouTube channel. I mean, Kohle is doing a lot of things on YouTube and techie stuff and whatever. So we said, okay, maybe that might be an opportunity if he's popping up at Kohlekeller, and use that and see what we can do. Because for that song, Kyrie Gloria, we needed some additional color, so to say, voice-wise. I mean, we had the intention to do some more psychotic vocals in there, and so we tried it, and he really delivered a great job. I mean, he's really his vocal cords. I'm not sure how he does it, but he's really, like, it's impressive if you hear him just without a micro. So he just can do so many weird things with his voice. So that really spiced the song up a bit. And when it comes to Mother of All Gods, the song where Vlad Dracul participated, there it was that he was one of the members since 1995 of the band, but it's a longer story, but I try to make it short. I mean, for those that don't know the history, after we recorded the second demo, he went back to Romania. He's native Romanian. So back then, there was no European Union, or so you couldn't just travel easily from Romania to Germany. So when he went back, he wasn't allowed to return to Germany. So we all of a sudden faced the issues that it was a vocalist and we needed him for the album recording. Didn't turn out that was possible. We tried legal and not so legal methods of getting him back. But in the end, actually, we decided then for the second album that we will travel to Romania and record everything there, etc. But afterwards, again, it was obvious it would take even longer time to get into Germany. And also, he wasn't so motivated into doing black metal stuff, etc. So we decided, okay, we make a cut, and Akayas will remain our vocalist. But I've been in touch with him all the way since then. I mean, he's still a good friend, and we do chat every now and then. Sometimes we even manage to meet. But when we recorded these songs, we did demo tracks, etc. We discussed a lot, and actually, he was also working on stuff. I mean, he's been working on music all the time, a bit more electronic kind of music, but all of a sudden he pulled out this song, only keyboards and drums, and the atmosphere, it just reminded me of the old Agathodaimon stuff, really old Agathodaimon stuff. And we talked a bit and said, okay, let's give it a try and work more on that one. And so we he contributed also the lyrics, and then I said, okay, awesome, and let's make more out of it. And then he also recorded the vocals in a studio in Romania, and we just put it together with Astrael's parts in the Kohlkeller studio, and it was really something I was really happy about, because it's the first time since 1999 since we had a proper guest appearance by Vlad. And as mentioned, he's still one of my close friends, and therefore it was really awesome to make that happen.
Wonderful. I must say, I feel like an idiot for not knowing that. And I did say I only did a little research.
It's 100 years ago.
That's great, though, and it must be almost strange in a way, that it's taken so long to get Vlad back on the album, considering since then, obviously, the European Union has launched into full effect. I think Romania joined in 2004.
Yeah.
I was actually in Berlin the day they joined, strangely enough.
Yeah.
But nobody watching cares about that.
But as mentioned, not so much into this kind of people anymore, so wouldn't have made sense to. But who knows? Maybe in the future there will be another collaboration.
Yeah, well, that'd be great. And as for the title of the album, obviously it is the seventh album. Was that like the whole reason just for calling it the seven, or is there more to it than that?
No, of course not. There are always multiple meanings somehow. But I didn't want to make it too obvious. I mean, the lyrics and the songs, they are quite connected to the seven deadly sins, so to say. I mean, from Christianity, lust, greed, gluttony, whatever. And but there have been so many movies, books, albums surrounding that, so I didn't just want to put a big finger onto it and say, oh, the seven sins. And and also, of course, we have more than just 7 songs, so to say, but all the lyrics, more or less, they have a connection towards this topic. So there are songs centered around, let's say, lust, one song about greed, and so on. And we also, I mean, this was something that developed over time. We have these this artist duo from Portugal, Credo que Absurdum. They take care of the album artwork, not only of the cover itself, but they worked on individual artworks for each song, for the lyrics, and so on. So that somehow just became bigger and bigger. At first it was just a thing like maybe we can do it as a loose concept, and it became a bit more, but it's not that we are like just focusing on this, saying this is a concept album, but it's more or less the main topic on the album.
Very good. It's great as well that you've approached it in such in a different way, because like you say, it's a topic which has been done so many times. I mean, you can point to movies like Seven, or I think Destruction did an album based on like Seven Deadly Sins at one point as well.
Yeah. Okay.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
It does happen a lot. But yeah, so to approach it in these different ways, and like you say as well, having different art for all these different subjects and songs as well is a really cool idea, and the art is amazing. How did you find this artist?
It was a really big coincidence. I mean, I do work for Metal Magazine myself, for the German Metal Hammer, And typically the summer festivals, I visit as photographer, doing also some reviews here and there. And for the Rock am Ring festival, which is quite big here, usually there's a lot of merch booths, stands, etc. People selling merchandise and shirt designs and whatever. And there was a tiny stand of Credo Kia Absurdum, where they had like 3 square meters, whatever. But there were a lot of excellent shirt designs, and I was, whoa, you did all these yourselves and whatever, and I hadn't heard of them before. So we've stayed in touch, and I asked them if they could maybe think about doing something for us, and then it became more and more. I mean, they did the cover artwork, and then we spoke about the concept, and so it just grew over time, and quite happy that, I mean, they put so much effort into it and so many hours. So I'm really happy that we could pull this off. Yeah,
Absolutely, and I think it fits the cover artwork fits the music really well as well. It's got that really kind of beautiful but melancholic blue tone to it. You know, it's a really beautiful piece of artwork, which some people may find strange to say about such extreme music, but it does, I think, go hand in hand with the music as well. With the cover art, was there any kind of directions that you gave him, or did he just go, "This is what I've got," and you got, "Love it"?
yeah, I mean, of course, we talked about it, and we discussed here and there, and that it was also the fascinating thing, that they really put so much effort into trying to make it better. You don't like something, they try to adopt, and but still it's their fingerprint in there, and their individual style. So we talked about different aspects here and there, and I let them artistic freedom. I mean, that is always something, like trying to just, if you envision it and say, I want to dragons there and whatever, and do it like this, and it's usually not rendering an impressive result. So I let them have their interpretation and work on that. So yeah.
Excellent. And just finally, then, what's the plans going forward? I know you've got some festival shows coming up. Is there like a full-on tour to come as well, or are these all sort of in the planning stages at the moment?
Yeah, it's not so easy. I mean, still in Germany, it's still not sure when there will be proper ways to open up clubs. And so I think in the US it's quite easy at the moment, but here it's still a bit restricted. We're planning on some gigs, but there's no full tour in sight. I mean, there are some plans and there are some talks about larger tours, but it's still not so easy, especially as all the bands that were like locked down, they're now having their tours they planned in 2020 or whatever. They're taking place right now. So finding festival appearances in this year or tours, it's all still booked from 2021 or 2020. But still, we're doing our best to just get on stage and see which opportunities we can take there.
Excellent. Well, I hope you're able to get some more shows booked soon. There's not so many greedy bands hogging up all the clubs from their previous tours. So best of luck with the album, and thank you very much for taking time to speak to me today. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks so much. I mean, awesome to get your feedback there, and having the chance to talk about the album and stuff.
Excellent.
Thanks so much.
You're very welcome. Vielen Dank und good night.
Merci. Until then, thank you.